Now let's discuss some extensions to the basic MRP. What we have discussed so far on MRP was introduced more than about 40-50 years ago, and over the period of time, as the computer technology improved in terms of computational power and amount of information that it can handle, more and more advances were introduced to the MRP system. So we're going to look at two of them, MRP2 and closed loop MRP, and the third one is ERP. That's even a further extension of these concepts like in MRP2. Then we will also look at capacity planning concepts. Now MRP2 is an extension to the MRP that we discussed so far. The basic MRP deals only with inventories, how many units, when to make it available, what is the lead time, and that kind of stuff. But with improved computer power, more information was introduced into the MRP computation. So it became more a resource planning rather than just simply material planning. So it included things like labor hours, it included how much scrap there will be, how much capacity is needed, and things like that. So here is an example of what additional information was included in MRP2. So we were in the original MRP, it was only the number of units. So if you want to produce 100 units of computer, then you need 100 units to the PC board, one each, and then 100 times 5 processor, 500 per processor. So the first number that we see in this table is the only one that we dealt with in the original MRP. So now you take that 100 multiplied by 0.2 hours of labor needed. So how much labor is needed, how much machine hours are needed, how much scrap it will produce, and what is the payables, what is the working capital needed, and there are all kinds of other resources that go with the production of a product is also included in the computation, and those are aggregated and made available for the planning process. Now, closed loop MRP, on the other hand, is to double check whether a given plan is feasible or not as we go through the planning process. So from aggregate plan, when we make the master production schedule, then you evaluate whether capacities are available or not. And there are a couple of different ways in which capacity requirements can be calculated. And early on, a rough cut capacity plan was used so that the computational need will be less. But with the improved power of computer, there is capacity requirements planning that can be done, which is much more detailed and much more accurate. So once that is done, if it is not okay, then you have to make adjustments, and if it is okay, then you proceed to the next stage, which is the MRP, preparing a material requirements plan. And once again, you determine the capacity availabilities. Okay, using early on it was rough cut capacity planning, and in more recent times these days it is capacity requirements plan. And if it is not okay, then you go back to the previous step and make adjustments. And if it is okay, then you proceed to the next stage of actual scheduling of products, where you will use what are called input-output control charts. We will discuss input-output control charts in the chapter on scheduling. So this process of taking an output and feeding it back into the capacity planning and checking and going back for fine-tuning the plans, and this is called closed-loop MRP system. Now we're going to look at how to deal with capacity problems when you have a MRP plan coming out and you don't have sufficient capacity. And we saw one such case in the worked out example where we had an exception where 50 units were needed this week and we didn't have enough inventory to meet that demand. So when that happens, then how do you expedite? And when there is capacity shortage, how do you deal with that? And there are 3 smoothing techniques or tactics that we can use. One is called overlapping. Overlapping is when you split the lot size. Okay, so if you have like 100 units, okay, instead of waiting for all the 100 units to be completed to be sent to the inventory or to the next production process needing it. So once you complete like 50 units, you send 50 units. And then after you finish the next 50, and then send the next 50 units. So instead of waiting for the entire lot to be completed, and you send the parts as and when they are completed without having to wait until the entire lot is completed. That's called overlapping. Now, operations splitting, on the other hand, is to have two machines. If you have one machine and then one machine is supposed to produce that 100 units of lot size, instead you have two machines, so you produce 50 units in one and 50 units in the other, and this way you can reduce the lead time that you need and you can get it done quickly. But of course this increases the cost because you have to, instead of setting one, if you run it in one machine, you will have only one setup. Now you have two machines, you have more setup, so setup cost goes up. Now order splitting or lot splitting is to split the lot. Instead of ordering, if you have 100 units as the batch size, instead of running a 100 unit batch, you run like 25 unit batch 4 times. So you make the order size smaller. So breaking up the order into smaller lots and running the parts earlier or later as scheduled. And to deal with the capacity, you do this for dealing with capacity problems. Okay, so here let's look at this from a graphical point of view. Suppose if you have these orders on different days, okay, and you have your capacity is 12, and the blue are the orders that you have, and of course here you have an order worth 14 hours, but you have only 12 hours of capacity, so this is over the capacity available. Here again there is over the capacity needed, here is over the capacity needed. Now order splitting would be you move that to here, then that evens things out, and here you move that one down here and that evens things out, and you still have a problem here which may be dealt with using overtime or some other tactic. Now MRP in service, if one service leads to another subsequent service, okay, so that's what the bill of material will look like. Some services directly link demand for other services. So when that happens, then you can set up an MRP system for service operations. So these can be treated in demand for services like restaurants and hospitals and hotels. So here is an example of bill of material in a service setup.